Hi guys, Tom and Will here.
Hello.
And this weekend, the church announced 7 brand new saints, which is super exciting and super cool. So we thought we'd tell you all about them.
So our first saint today is
Nessa Marchez, and she was a lady who lived in Bolivia for most of her life, and she founded a group of nuns called the Missionaries of the Crusades, and they served and ministered to people who were involved in fighting and troubles and war, regardless of what side they were fighting on. So she's a real example of God's mercy and the mercy that we should show in our lives. Our second saint is...
Hang on, Tom. Hang on. This is a pretty big day in the church this year. This is
huge,
pretty impressive and really quite exciting.
Very.
So how about we go somewhere a little bit more exciting than our studio here?
Why don't we go around the bride's site and see if we can find some places to talk about saints?
That sounds really cool. Let's do it. Our next saint is Nuncio Sulprizio, and the Pope chose to canonise him because he was only 19 when he died. And right now, as we're in the middle of the Youth Synod, he found it was quite fitting to have such a young saint. Now, although Nuncio's life wasn't very long, he was actually very, very ill. He had gangrene in his leg and a number of other health problems which ultimately led to his short life. Throughout all of his suffering, he was offered help and support in other ways, but he refused it all, offering his suffering to Jesus, saying, if Jesus suffered, why shouldn't I too? That's quite inspirational.
Our next new saint is Vincent Romano, who was a priest who had a real devotion to the Blessed Sacrament. He lived a really simple life and was known for his great care that he gave to orphans and other young people. And he rebuilt his parish, often with his bare hands, after a volcanic eruption destroyed huge areas of the part of the world where he lived.
Our next saint is Pope St. Paul VI. Now this guy was pretty revolutionary in that he kick-started Vatican II. Vatican II was ultimately what changed the way we celebrate Mass massively. He also beatified a lot of the saints, which we're also talking about today, including Nuncio Sulprizio.
Our next saint is Francesco Spinelli, a man who devoted his life to educating the poor, and he founded an institute called the Institute of Adorers, a community of people who are really devoted to the Blessed Sacrament. There are now over 250 of these communities across the world, and they specialise in supporting people who are dealing with problems of drugs, and particularly in parts of the world where HIV is particularly rife. So a really wonderful man and a real great inspiration. So our next saint is Saint Maria Katharina. Now, she was very sick as a young person, but she was determined to help the poor. And when she eventually got better, she established the Poor Handmaids of Jesus. And today there are over 600 of those nuns around the world who devote their time to serving the poor and the young. Particularly wonderful in the year of the Youth Synod.
One of the more famous saints on our list today is Oscar Romero! Now this guy is pretty famous, so you might have heard of him before. He was the Archbishop of a place called San Salvador, which is the capital of El Salvador in Central America, and was the spokesperson for the El Salvadorian people during quite a difficult time of their history. He really supported the oppressed and spoke out for them via his really powerful homilies, and eventually that led to him being murdered for his faith, and so he is a martyr.
Wow, that was exciting.
It's tiring as well.
Oh yeah, so 7 incredible people, 7 wonderful new saints, all praying for us right now in heaven. That's amazing.
That is pretty incredible.
I'm pretty tired though.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on NDCYS Live.